What's up, everybody? It's day one wrap up of the Ryder Cup, and the Americans took a demanding first day lead, 6-2. Demanding, whatever. I got my boy Frye from Oklahoma, my Ryder
What's up?
Cup, my Ryder Cup insider. He nailed a lot of the teams that we talked about. He's going to be on the other line discussing. We're going to break it down. We're going to have a little fun. Frye, what'd you think, man? Day one in the books. What'd you think?
Well, let's just lead into this by, giving my official name, Ryder Cup Stradamus, I believe is what I got.
Ryder Cup Stradamus. He nailed all the. He really worked the pod system, and he nailed a lot of the pairings. It's pretty cool to see that come to play for sure.
Also pretty cool to see is the Americans actually playing like we expect them to play.
Oh, for sure. Showing a little fire, a little camaraderie. I like what I saw a lot for sure.
Yeah, and it was interesting because it was for both sessions. Normally, or I guess not normally, but in the past we've seen, the Americans, for instance, like in 2018, jump out to a strong lead, but then the next session they can't seem to keep that momentum going. Right. And it was interesting. It was interesting today how, the matches kind of were back and forth to begin with, but for both sessions, right around 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe even before that was when we really took our commanding leads.
Yes.
Commanding leads in the matches that we won.
Right.
Which was the impressive thing to me to see.
Absolutely. I noticed one of the graphics they showed was, like you said, Americans typically we jump out to a big lead in the first session. And I think it said over the past 38 Ryder Cups or a past however many Ryder Cups, the Europeans were plus 22 in points in the second round on the first day, which is absolutely insane. So for us that's brutal. I mean, that's hard to that's how they win these things. Isn't that the second phase of the first day? That's how they come back and they win these things. And we showed fire. We got down in some matches, brought it back, got halves. We stole a half a point from John Rahm, the best player in the world, who's playing like the best player in the world.
Absolutely.
It was good to see, man. It was good to see. What was probably your biggest takeaway? Your biggest takeaway from the day, from the play we saw today?
So for me, I guess for my biggest takeaway, you kind of got to go back to the last 20 years. The last 20 years of Ryder Cups, we've only won 3 times. And everybody always tries to figure out, well, what do the Europeans do that makes them so special? Or what do the Europeans do that make them so good in this team competition, regardless of the fact that the Americans always come in on paper as the favorite? And it's what you've hinted at already. It's the fact that they, as a team, have always been able to let their guards down to each other, and really mesh well as a team. That seems like any one of their players can match up with any one of their other players, and they just come out and dominate us.
Right.
And to me, it seemed like we were the team that did that today. I mean, it's whatever Stricker's putting in the water this week, it seems to be working. And the fact that this generation of American players, as the guard has kind of been passed on to them, it seems like they can actually mesh well together as a team, let their guards down, and kind of build off of each other. I mean, we've seen that periodically over the last 20 years, but never as much as what I saw today.
For sure. You think they're tired of hearing it, man? I feel like this young group, like you said, I think they're just tired of hearing about it. I think they're tired of hearing that we can't win. Our average world ranking was like 8.5. I mean, we have on paper one of the best teams that we've ever had. And they have to keep hearing about, Americans don't care about the Ryder Cup, or you guys, why can't we do what the Europeans do? I mean, it kind of seems like they might maybe kind of fed up with that kind of talk.
I think that's a little to do with it. And I was super, super intrigued by an answer that Patrick Cantlay gave in his press conference leading into the matches. And they basically asked him the same question. And he gave this crazy off the wall answer about, I can't even remember what the name of the card game that it is that you play.
Gin.
Yeah, gin. He said, I've read books on gin. Okay, first off, who's reading books on gin? Like, who in their spare time, other than this humongous nerd, Patrick Cantlay, is reading books on gin?
Of course, Patrick Cantlay reads books on gin.
But he gave this answer and said, a 1 or 2% difference in skill level over the course of like 10 games of gin can lead to you basically dominating the people that you're playing against. And basically said, like when you go to a roulette table in Vegas, it's a 50-50 game, whether it's going to land on black or white, but somehow it's always skewed towards the house.
Right.
And, it's a coin flip, and it just seems like he said he takes a long-term approach on thinking about these things. And if that's the case, then, we're doing this coin flip on it. Will the Europeans win or will the Americans win? And it seems like it keeps landing on Europeans. And he said, you would think at some point that those things have to change back into your favor.
Right.
All of that to say that he really doesn't have any idea what their correct answer is. But I kind of think that with this, new wave of American players, that they seem to have a little bit better of an understanding of how to mesh well together as a team. And that was 100% apparent and on display today. And it seemed like there really wasn't a whole lot that faced them.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%.
Other than John Rahm, of course.
Yeah, John Rahm. He's just literally willing. He's literally carrying the European team. He's the only one that even seems to care. And he's going to be obviously he's going to be a formidable opponent the next 3 phases. So we got to stay on him and break his will. We need to break his will tomorrow morning and just make him not even care anymore. So let's talk about some of the matches. Obviously, we go out this morning and just absolutely dominate 3-1. And none of the wins were particularly that close. Brooks and Koepka and Berger was only a 2-1 win, but really they had control of the match early and never really relinquished it. And I mean, they're both all 3 of those teams this morning in alternate shot. Dustin Johnson and Colin Morikawa. If in alternate shot they're not going to get beat. Brooks and Daniel, they look like they're going to be really tough to beat. And then Cantlay and Schauffele, you can forget it. Not taking them down at all. It's not going to happen. And then our only loss was to Sergio and John Rahm, which Sergio gets up for these things. He's a good alternate shot guy. And then John Rahm is just good at everything. So anything big that stood out with you on the first phase that you want to talk about?
I mean, just that first match, I feel like in singles, JT has got to be your first guy out there. I mean, he's the emotional leader.
Yes.
You expect to get a point out of him. But in the rest, like in the partner phases of the matches, I feel like he's got to be your anchor, your fourth match. I felt like that's really the only mistake that I felt that we made today was putting him out there first, as I feel like he's the guy that feeds on hearing the roars of the crowd. He's the guy that feeds on that, hearing those roars, and it gets him going, and he's then in the moment and doing the crazy stuff. And I just feel like I wish we would have led with maybe having Xander and Cantlay out first against Rom.
Right.
But I mean, that was really the only mistake that I felt we made. Other than that, aside from Berger trying to get the blocks on 16 and 17 at the end of his match, I felt like we really didn't make a whole lot of crucial mistakes in that first session.
Is there a harder golf hole that you can imagine than 17 into the wind? Holy crap.
For the short hitters, yes. I mean, I don't think that there is a harder hole. So, there's when you have guys like Berger or a guy like Tyrell Hatton, which he hit a good shot in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But in that morning session, man, it was tough.
And they only saw, I think they may have been the only team that saw it, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, yeah, I think, or maybe two teams saw 17. So it was, tough hole, 230 into the wind, played about 260, and you got the lake to the left, and you got death all around. It was, you saw Jordan Spieth, I believe that was a hole where he hit the 75-foot moonshot to about 3 feet that morning, and then almost fell down into the lake. That was pretty little dramatic.
I didn't see JT's tee shot, and I may, seeing Jordan hit that second shot actually makes me glad I didn't see JT's tee shot.
Well, you know how close he was at that afternoon to missing it left. He took a very aggressive line. It was a similar shot, only it just trickled off, and it like kind of hung right at the bottom of the face of that like wall right there. And everybody's seen the highlights. You'll see that highlight forever, even though it was a loss in the match. It was pretty intense.
It was an impressive shot, though.
Oh, heck yeah. Incredibly impressive. So we, like I said, we go 3-1 this morning. We switch up a few teams. I was kind of shocked they split up Cantlay and Xander, but it's kind of made sense when they went to the different format. And we went to 3-1 again, 2 wins and 2 halves, which is just and one half we really stole. I feel like we had a half with Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay where they were down as much as 3 with was it 6 or 7 holes left to play, something like that.
Yeah.
And then kind of went on a run. JT made an eagle from 280 out. He was up and down from 280 on a par 5, which is just nuts because he's 5 foot nothing, and he can just rope hook 3 woods forever. It's amazing. And then to take a half point away from John Rahm, that's big any way you cut it.
Yes. What I will say is coming off of the 2018 Ryder Cup where Francesco Molinari and Fairway Jesus were undefeated. And to steal that point from Fleetwood, I just can't stop calling him Fairway Jesus. It's just too much fun.
Yeah.
But no, to steal that half point, that's basically the first time that he's ever not won a group match in the Ryder Cup. I just think that was huge.
For sure.
Especially being 3 down on, at one point on the back 9. That was it was an impressive thing to watch.
Absolutely.
JT and Cantlay get that half point back and basically kind of break the floodgates open on this first day.
For sure. as equally impressive was Tyrell Hatton's shot on 18 to get to have. They were down one going into 18. The best they could do was half. And I think it was like 205, maybe 209, something like that. He hits a 5-iron to like 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet. And
well,
go ahead.
And the TV commentators were they're making it out to be that 18th hole, stealing their half point back in that match was going to be the John Rahm show. And then here you have Tyrrell Hatton, it's stuffing a 5-iron in there from 205 into about 4 feet and making the putt for birdie. He was kind of the unsung hero of that half point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of fun, 2 things. We're going to we're going to talk about a couple of different things from the rounds, and then we're going to talk about the pairings for tomorrow. So what would you say, Frye, is your biggest surprise of the day? What was your biggest surprise of the day?
My biggest surprise, I have to say, I think, is the play of Rory McIlroy.
Bingo.
I mean, he's heralded as, former number 1 in the world, comes into the Ryder Cup. If you remember back to 2016, I mean, he was their first guy out on Sunday, and he was the guy that was, supposed to be able to secure the point. He played so well in France, and, comes into this thing as one of their top players, and to go 0-2, and it wasn't even a close 0-2. No. I mean, he got drugged through the mud in both of his matches.
5-3.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, so that was the biggest surprise of the day to me, is just the fact that he seems to be either out of form or just ran into 2 buzzsaws.
Right. Absolutely. That was my biggest surprise as well. And he just, like I said, he got beat 4-3 and 5-3, absolutely stroked. I was kind of surprised that DJ had never won 2 points on the same day in his Ryder Cup history. That was kind of shocking to me. That was kind of a big surprise to me. He came out and played great, and he won 2 points. And I was surprised that was the first time that he'd ever won 2 points on the same day. So I would say that was definitely my biggest surprise. So moving on, was there a shot that stood out to you? What was the shot of the day that stood out to you? I bet you know what mine's going to be.
I think I know what yours is going to be, and I think you don't know what mine is going to be.
I don't.
So we take the commanding lead in the morning, and we go into the afternoon, and it seems like every match was all square for like the first 6 or 7 holes. Like nobody's really jumping out to any sort of lead in the afternoon matches. And in the second match, I think it was the second. It was either the second or the third match. The match that had Tony Finau and Harris English going against McIlroy, and the other Lowry going against the Irish contingent. And the match was all square, and it was on going into number 8, which is a long, super, super long par 4. And all of the Finau hits it on the green, Lowry hits it on the green, and McIlroy hit it on the green, but like none of them are really close because they're all hitting their approach shots from, right around 200 yards. I mean, I think it was playing 496 into the wind. And Harris English, rookie, first match ever, hits an 8-iron in there to, few feet.
Yes.
And makes the birdie putt to take the lead in that match. And then I think he and Finau won like 3 of the next 4 holes to take a humongous lead in that match. So to me, that was my favorite shot of the day, just because it showed that, Harris English has a little fight in him, and
Sure.
even as a and as a rookie, you don't not to say you don't expect that, but for him to rise to that occasion just kind of lets me know that, he's here to play, and he's not going to back down to anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, everyone knows my affinity for Bryson DeChambeau, and I think it's hole number 7, possibly 6 or 7. It's a par 5. What number is it?
I think it's number 6.
Number 6. It's a similar hole to number 6 at Bay Hill. Bay Hill from the standpoint.
Different angle.
It's a different angle, but there's a way that you can cut the corner if you hit a bomb. Otherwise, you kind of play your way around the water, so to speak. And he hit a drive. He took a line that was just absolutely absurd. Hits a bomb downwind, 417 yards, dead sprinkler head right in the middle. 417, guys, not 317, 417, and has 75 yards in to a par 5, makes eagle. It was incredible. Absolute moon rocket.
It was. And I watched the post round interview with Scotty Scheffler, and he said, who was Bryson's partner, of course, in that match. Right. And he said that they practiced that a little bit. They had that same wind one of the practice rounds. I think he said maybe it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And when they got up there today, he said you could just see the excitement come over Bryson. Like he got the wind he wanted, and he was just like elated that he was going to be able to go for this drive. And then once Scheffler puts his drive out there, which he said the line that he put it on was like he said it was like 200 to 250 yards left of the line that Bryson took. So if that gives you any idea of how much he actually cut off on that hole.
There's an Instagram post with like the shot tracker, and it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So let's talk about they just released the pairings for tomorrow. Let's talk about the pairings real quick, make some predictions, and then we'll just we'll go to bed and get up and do it all over again tomorrow. So the first pairing, starting off the morning, you're going to have alternate shot again, and it's going to be Koepka and Berger versus Garcia and Rahm. So the Europeans are taking their first team from yesterday or this morning and going right back out there. So Garcia and Rahm, Koepka and Berger. What do you think about that matchup?
I feel about this one the same as I felt about the first match of today. Yes. I feel like we kind of missed an opportunity. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think it all hinges on how well Daniel Berger plays.
Sure.
If he plays well, I think this will be a close match. If he starts to have those right bleeding shots like he did at the end of today's round, I feel like this match could go south for us in a hurry.
For sure.
Me personally, I probably would have put Dustin Johnson and Colin Morikawa out against that Garcia and Rahm group, as I feel like the biggest thing for tomorrow is we need Jon Rahm to take an L at some point.
Got to.
Just to kind of play with his psyche. See, I mean, he's basically carrying that team.
Yes, for sure.
And I feel like we could have put a buzzsaw against him to make it a little harder for him. But I mean, you never know. This is a deal where, Garcia and Rahm could play bad, or, Brooks and Daniel Berger could catch fire. So, yep. But this first match is really the only match that kind of worries me. The rest of the matches I feel really good about.
Feel good. Yeah. So match 2, you got, I agree, by the way. I agree. Johnson, DJ and Morikawa again versus Casey and Hatton. I feel like that's going to be a bloodletting. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. They're just going to keep the momentum going and take them down again, or not again, but they're going to DJ and Morikawa should easily win this match.
I would think so. So if you look at Paul Casey, also took 2 L's today,
Yes.
if I recall
A lot of
correctly.
L's taken.
Yes, and he was only overshadowed by the fact that there was a bigger name player that also took 2 L's today.
Yeah.
Whereas Morikawa, I don't think missed a shot the entire morning.
No.
And then DJ seemed like he played the most steady golf of all the Americans throughout the day.
Agree.
So to me, I mean, I guess the X factor in this match is Terrell Hatton. You know, he showed a little flair winning or not winning, but helping Rahm and himself regain that half point at the end of their match this afternoon. So he's probably the X factor of this match, but I don't know. I don't see anybody beating DJ and Colin Morikawa an alternate shot.
Yep. Then you got Spieth and Thomas again versus Hovland and Wiesberger. I didn't really see anything from Wiesberger today that really seemed very threatening. But Spieth also did not play, just incredibly great either. So that one to me could be a coin flip with Spieth with Thomas and Hovland kind of being the wild cards, carrying that match. I'm hoping we can at least get, maybe get a half out of that one for sure.
Yeah. I mean, of all the matches tomorrow morning, this one seems like the one that's the most evenly matched on both sides.
Very evenly matched for sure.
And could go either way, especially with Jordan not really playing his best golf, and really JT didn't play his best golf.
Not this morning.
In alternate.
He didn't really play his best golf until later this afternoon. So last match, Schauffele and Cantlay, and then Westwood and Fitzpatrick. I just don't see that team getting beat, man. I just do not see Cantlay and Schauffele getting beat all weekend.
So I'm not sure if you ever had the opportunity to watch or to see the movie Mean Girls, but there's a line in the movie Mean Girls where one of the friends of the main character keeps using this word called fetch.
Yeah, and we keep trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, and her friend tells her, "Why do you keep trying to make fetch happen? Fetch is not going to happen." And that's how I feel about this Westwood Fitzpatrick grouping.
Yeah,
like why? Like they got drilled this morning, and now they're putting them back out there tomorrow morning. Like, why does Padraig keep trying to make this fetch group happen? It just doesn't make any sense.
That's a great line. So hopefully tomorrow we can keep the momentum going and make it a stress-free day on Sunday. We're going to try to jump on and do this again tomorrow night after it's over, and we'll get the 12-man pairings for Sunday. But we need a big day tomorrow. Keep the momentum going. Put the pedal down. Maybe we can get 2 or 3 points in the morning, 2 or 3 points in the afternoon, make this smooth sailing. Frye, you got any last thoughts before we call it an evening and get ready for this again tomorrow?
I do. So I feel like at this point, being up by 4 points, all of the pressure, every ounce of the pressure at this point going into tomorrow morning is on the European squad. They have to win at least one of the sessions, if not both the sessions tomorrow. Otherwise, they're going to be in a world of hurt going into Sunday.
Sure.
So I really think we've set ourselves up nicely. And even if we half all the matches tomorrow and it's 4 points our way and 4 points their way, then you're taking a 10-6 lead into Sunday. And I think the only time that a 10-6 lead has been overcome in Ryder Cup history was the 99 matches.
Right, at Brookline. Absolutely. You're right.
Yep. The miracle at Brookline.
The miracle at Brookline. Well, Frye, thanks for jumping on last minute. It was a fun day. We're hoping for a fun day tomorrow as well. You guys watch out for us on social media. Send us any cool videos, any cool shots that you thought that we missed talking about, and we'll try to talk about them tomorrow. So, Y'all catch us tomorrow night. If it's not both of us, it'll definitely be me, maybe somebody else. Hopefully Frye can jump back on again tomorrow and we'll break it down. But we will catch y'all tomorrow. Thanks again, Frye.
The DBGP.
Always stroking.
Always.